My sister ruined my honeymoon and my husband sided with her?
I thought husband and wife were supposed to be a team.
Short marriage. I try and keep this as short as possible while giving the important details. We rented a cabin for our honeymoon, to which my sister-in-law and her best friend were already coming along. My husband got the idea to invite my sister and her young son, and we paid for them to fly home so they could stay longer after the wedding. By the way, this comes from Mammoth Showers 6916, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKstorytime subreddit. So, it was 6 days after the wedding. Day 5 at the cabin, when everything went sideways. My sister got sick the day before, and we were helping with her son, but still going out and enjoying ourselves, as it was our honeymoon. We left her for a few hours at a time, and even asked on occasion if she wanted us to take her son, but she never had him ready. It's hard to take a kid still in diapers out without a go bag. It's also not realistic to take your child down to a hot dock without a swimsuit, sunscreen, water, and a hat, etc. We went down to the dock to swim and get some sun. I started getting messages from my sister about her husband, who was at work being mad that their child was locked inside all day. However, anyone who had us on Facebook even commented on the amount he was outside playing with us, as we posted lots of photos with him. From there, things escalated. I went up to the cabin to try and figure out what was going on. She started yelling at me about just leaving her with her son when she was sick. I stated that we offered to take him, to which she declined. I then told her that all she had to do was ask, to which she told me, no, she shouldn't have to ask. We should just do it. There should be mind readers. This is where I may have reacted poorly. She is not talking to my uncle due to a situation that started from her having expectations, not voicing them, and then blowing up on him. My brother and she were just rekindling their relationship due to the same reason. I told her that she needs to stop having expectations of people without voicing them, then freaking out when those expectations don't happen. I told her that is exactly why my brother has minimal contact with her and my uncle has zero contact with her. I grabbed her son and went down to the dock, and realizing how ill-prepared we were to have a 3-year-old in the open sun, I messaged her husband explaining the situation, and he brushed it off as she has anxiety. My sister-in-law and her best friend started making comments about how if she was going to be like that, she was not welcome to stay, to which I agreed. I tried to give her time, knowing my sister, but my husband started telling me I had to make things right no matter what it took. I tried to apologize many times, but she ignored me. She started messaging me saying things like, if you're going to trap me here in the middle of nowhere and tell me everyone hates me, you could have just done it when I was at home. Rather than arguing about what was said, I went against my better judgment and said, I'm sorry for what I said out of anger. I shouldn't have said it. She made a comment about being in a mood for the next 3 days until she leaves, which I knew meant she would keep her mood and attitude for the rest of the trip.
Don't you hate it when people just have an attitude? Why? What did I ever do to you?
Yeah, why are you in a tude?
You're so right about that, girl.
I've never been in a tude. I told her she could take the night to get a good night's sleep and get her head on straight, but if she didn't snap out of the mood, my husband would give her a ride to a hotel for the rest of her stay. She immediately responded that she would take the ride now and leave. You would think that would be the end, but no. Apparently, my sister realized that a last-minute hotel at the location would be $2,000 plus. My husband came back saying my sister was staying and yelling at me in front of his sister and her friend. I don't know what my sister told him I said, but she showed him the message where I apologized for what I said. I tried to explain to him that keeping her there was a horrible idea and that he didn't know the past or history with her. She had to go. It was the only option. In the end, I actually ended up leaving. I drove my beater as I have been rear-ended 2 weeks before the wedding, making my good car unsafe to drive, so I bought a beater to get through a sketchy mountain pass with 0 cell phones at reception at 11 p.m. Why is your husband yelling at you?
Yeah, you should never be yelling at your partner.
No, yelling is uncalled for.
I think that the husband likes the sister, or has liked the sister in the past.
There is a lot of drama revolving around my sister that I thought we were past, but it was all brought back up. Plus, I was on hormones for fertility treatment, and I'm bipolar, but normally well medicated. Driving home, seeing the way my husband just sided with my sister, never getting my side of the story or letting me tell it, mixed with everything else, I started getting thoughts of driving off the cliff or into a barricade. Ooh, I hope you're okay. When I got home, I dropped my dog off and made the decision to go to the psych ward for an evaluation. I was released within 8 hours as they agreed it was hormones mixed with a lot happening. They just gave me something to sleep as they deemed my normal meds good for normal day-to-day life. My husband took 24 hours to come home, even after I told him I was going to the psych ward. You're done. Like, what the heck? I'm sorry, you just found out your partner, your wife, was in the psych ward and you didn't come home? That's messed up.
That's a big deal, man.
Huge deal. Anyone in my family knows my sister understands the situation. My mom used to record all their conversations because my sister would manipulate what was said. For a long time, my mom would lock herself in the room before my sister got home so she didn't have to endure her wrath. Needless to say, my sister will never be in my life again. With my husband, he says things like, I was trying to save our relationship with your nephew. He never admits he did anything wrong in his eyes. People tell me you never go against your husband or wife when they make a decision, or if you question it, you have a conversation in private. The fact that he just believed my sister, who he had met once before without getting my side of the story, is another hard spot. I feel like he totally betrayed me in that moment. The way it took him 24 hours to come home after I went to the psych ward also makes me question if he cares. He keeps saying he thought I'd come back or that we had taken the time off and paid for the cabin. I just don't know if I am in the wrong for wanting a divorce over this entire situation. No, your husband betrayed you. He didn't care that you were in the psych ward. He yelled at you. Just overall, I'm like, this can't be the first or last time that this is going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. These aren't things that are kind of like, oh, you have to understand the whole situation. It's like, no, you should never be yelling at your partner. If your partner is in this psych ward, that should be a big deal and you should be there for them. So come on.
Come on. Comments. Comment 1. Why did you take others on your honeymoon? This has to be fake. If it's not, why are you in contact with any of these people? I forgot that there was a honeymoon. OP says, I wish it was fake. We rent the cabin every summer and it's definitely better with more people. His sister and her friend are great to have there. It was a cheap place to go after an expensive wedding. I no longer talk to my sister. I wouldn't say I'm close with his sister or her friend. I only see them every summer at the cabin. As for my husband, well, we are married and I have been contemplating divorce and working through it since. Comment 2, this situation doesn't seem divorce worthy. It needs couples therapy. How did you get married and didn't discuss family issues? You should have talked about the relationship between you and your sister so he understood from the beginning. As well, you should never have invited her. You knew your relationship with her and the BS she pulls. You brought this on yourself. If a discussion was had about how crappy of a person she is while you were still dating or engaged, then he would have a clue. This is not on your husband. This is completely on you. Well, okay. I don't know if I agree with that. I feel like that's a little bit unfair.
Kind of makes the situation like all very black and white.
It's like maybe she should have told him, but also he shouldn't have yelled at her and also not been around her for 24 hours.
Exactly.
OP, things with my sisters are complicated. She got sober and everyone was telling me how much she had changed. Her and my relationship seemed a lot better, although only seeing her in person every 2 years. I have tried to move on with my life and don't like bringing up the past. I don't even live close to my family anymore, so I just took the words of everyone else. He's aware of everything that happened with my uncle and brother. I'm not sure past that's why he decided to side with her, other than him saying he was trying to save our relationship with my nephew. And there is an update to finish this story off.
Wow. An update.
I agree. I think that is not necessarily divorce worthy, but I do think couples counseling is a need because it's totally inappropriate behavior from him.
Right. And it's kind of, it just shows like, well, in future conflicts and stuff, like, is this going to just continue to happen if we don't confront this problem, you know?
Yeah, is this how you're going to treat me every time we have an argument?
I think that like how you deal with conflict is like the most important thing in a relationship, you know?
Agreed.
So they got to figure that out.
There is an update. Yes, we brought people on our honeymoon. His sister and her friend come with us every summer to that cabin, and it gets boring quickly to be in the middle of nowhere with no internet or TV. Having more people means more games and more socialization. It was a cheap honeymoon after an expensive wedding, as renting the cabin on a private lake is only $400 for the week. But you know what is no money for the week? Listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search up OKstorytime. But there's a little teeny weeny bit left of the story, so let's finish it off. Yes, I'm off fertility meds. I'm not sure why everyone is assuming I'm still on them while considering a divorce. It was just background as to why I reacted as extremely as I did. I know my reaction was a little extreme, and if I wasn't on the meds, or if my dream car hadn't been totaled 2 weeks prior, or if everything else hadn't taken place in such a short period, I know I wouldn't have ended up in the psych ward. And that is the end of the story.
Wow. I'm so sorry, OP. Our lovely follower and member of our community. That's very hard.
No, I mean, your husband is not being kind or understanding. And I think you gotta have a conversation with him and be like, hey, why did you react that way? Because that was a really intense reaction, especially when I was clearly going through a lot.
Right. Like there's got to be some sort of deeper meaning to it. You know, it's always best to jump to counseling rather than jumping to divorce.
Even if it ends in divorce, I mean, just counsel, just to see what's going on.
Just know that you tried. But wow, thank you for sending in your story. And to all you lovely people in the comments, go ahead and send in your stories. We'll read them right in front of you.